The Double Down's back. And this is Live Locks. The Double Down's back. I'm eating the Double Down. This is the show. Just me eating a Double Down. This is pretty much what it is. But if you also like to gamble while you eat Double Downs, go to scoresandodds.com. We got a nice little props page where you can see our projections and where the best line is. You get Grant's Action Lounge, which has all my picks each and every day. Got a decent amount of them today. And you get picks from me and this piece of crap over here. Daniel Chevelson. Doesn't like yellow cheese. Never had a Double Down. Go.
I've never had a Double Down. Yeah, you might need a change of shorts at some points during the show. You were really enjoying that Double Down pre-show, and I guess you're going to be working it as the show progresses. But I guess KFC is the unofficial sponsor for this show today. But yeah, I've never had a Double Down. And yeah, yellow cheese is a deal breaker for me anyways, if that's what's going on there. And we debated if a Double Down was a sandwich pre-show. And I think you said no was your official answer. You need some sort of breading or bread. I guess there's breading in the chicken, but a bread substance. So not a sandwich, despite whatever KFC might tell you.
I'm not going to argue with the sandwich. Well, let's see. Definition of sandwich. Let's Google
Big Sandwich. What does Big Sandwich have to say about this? What would the Earl of Sandwich say? Like this is what he invented so many years later? Didn't he get the credit for inventing the sandwich?
A food item consisting of 2 pieces of bread, meat, cheese, or other fillings between eaten as a light meal. I've had some heavy sandwiches. I don't love this.
Yeah. You ever see a Cat's Deli sandwich? That's not a light meal. I didn't realize light meal was an implication or kind of like because that kills a lot of sandwiches. Some sandwiches are massive. Interesting. Wasn't aware of that little caveat. But you're right. This isn't necessarily what the people want, but of note.
I love me a pastrami sandwich.
Pastrami's your go-to? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Like more so than ham or like ham, turkey, roast beef. You got pastrami ahead of all those?
Oh, yeah. Not even remotely close. A good pastrami sandwich. French dip, a good pastrami sandwich. Those are the pinnacles of sandwiches.
Well, wait a second. French dip's not assumed to be a pastrami, I don't think. I'm pretty sure if you go to Philippe's
I'm saying those
in
are
LA.
my 2 pinnacles of sandwiches.
Okay. Yeah. Philippe's in LA. I know we've both been there before. I feel like we've talked about it where they allegedly invented the French dip. Yeah. You get the double wet? How long do you let it stick in there?
I get
the
double
sandwich
wet.
That is. Yeah. All right. Well, you're getting there.
You're getting the people hungry out there. You dirty dog, you. Dean getting sexual on this Friday morning.
I can't remember the official term. I don't remember the official term, but they do, like they say wet or not wet. I can't remember what they officially call it out there, but yeah, that's where my brain went. I haven't been there in a while out there in LA. Of course, I'm on the right coast, but yeah, that was
Florida.
I mean, right as in like
Florida. You're not allowed to say anything. You have no say.
Well, we have Cuban sandwiches here, which are really good, but I modify them because I don't like
food there is solid.
Swiss cheese.
The food, Miami's got a great food scene. I don't know what else. I mean, but realistically, like of the East Coast foods states, Florida's pretty far down.
Key lime pie, yeah, that's one of our things. That's more of a Key West thing, but that's like our main dessert, I suppose, if you want to say. Really put something as far as the state. You're in Tennessee where you got the Bulls balls, right? Like, that's supposedly a thing. I don't know if it is or isn't. Or
it's
just
Rocky Mountain Oysters. Second of all,
you're in Colorado.
Tennessee, it's Colorado.
Correct, but you know what I meant.
Fudged up on both. I've never actually had them. I try them, but we got bets, Daniel. Starting off the Philly-Charlotte game. So I'm guessing you love Embiid today.
I think I just finished writing the expert survey, my portion of it. And yeah, Embiid, this is not a daily fantasy show, but Embiid is actually coming in really low owned, 10-15% on a pretty big game slate. It's salary reasons, we'll see how that kind of unfolds later. And that's not what the people are here for. But I mean, Embiid's playing 37 minutes in competitive minutes these days. He's facing Charlotte. Charlotte, the number 2 matchup in all of basketball for versatile bigs. If you look at the defense versus archetype matchup tool, Embiid's been, I wrote up that he's in the current like Denzel Washington man on fire portion of his season. He's been closing strong. He's now he's leaped over your boy Jokic as far as the MVP voting, and I really think that he's legitimately going to threaten for it. And I think he probably wins. He's now the favorite. I don't think he's going to let it go. And, he's going to – it's not like Charlotte's going to slow him down. You think Kia Jones and Nick Richards are going to slow down the train that is Joel Embiid? No chance. He's going to absolutely smash tonight.
Almost hit his number's so high. It's 34.5 for points. It's 51.5 for points, rebounds, assists. I'm still thinking about the under, but one bet I did hit is under 11.5 rebounds plus 106 at FanDuel. One of the big things that isn't really fully in this, like, decent chance of a blowout. Do you think they're going to give him a run in the fourth going up against Charlotte, who's trying to lose and should easily get blown out here? 10.5 point spread. I think the rebound number, he's hit the under in 7 out of the last 8 games, just coming off a massive 18 rebound game, I think. 11.5, too high of a number, getting plus odds on the under. I'm rolling with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I can slow Embiid down. That's kind of what I wrote as well. The one thing I can actually slow him down is the scoreboard. And it is the front end of a back-to-back for what it's worth for Philadelphia. So, like, if you want to tell yourself a story that maybe they don't fully push him, but it's a 17-point game with 6 minutes to go, maybe they pull him out a little bit early, that kind of thing, that's certainly possible. He certainly can do his damage in 3 quarters as well. I hear both sides of that. And, I was looking at this last night, and I was staring at it last night, and everybody sees it, like Embiid versus Charlotte. This is not anything we're uncovering. It's super obvious. But I, too, could not pull. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bet the over on it because the books knew it. And I was looking on Prize Picks at 34.5 as far as – I just didn't do it. It was a stay away because, like you said, they really pumped that number up. I'm not betting against it, but I didn't bet on it. But, he should fully smash.
Yeah, if the spread was sitting at 3, it wouldn't even be a question. I'd be hitting the overs. The spread's at 11 or 10.5. Too much chance of a blowout. That's why I also took Harden under 40.5 points, rebounds. The total is not too high in this, 227.5. Like, it doesn't seem like a spot you want to take unders, but it's one of those sneaky spots where everyone's just hammering the over. And the unders on all the props are actually looking pretty good. I almost hit the under on Maxey points. I almost hit a few different unders, but just ended up going with Harden under PRA and Embiid under 11.5 rebounds. Got nothing in the Golden State game.
Philly's really slow. They look with 5th or 6th as far as pace, slowest pace in the league, and they play pretty good defense. They're top 10, so that's one of the reasons why that number is pumped down. And just to say, you said Charlotte's trying to lose. Like my stance on that is that like they're basically entrenched in their spot. They really are locked in at the 4. Unless you think San Antonio is going to win 4 games the rest of the season, I don't. And Charlotte's going to go undefeated. Like I don't think that's a likely scenario. And they're also 6 games behind Orlando. They can win. Orlando's got 28 wins. They got 22. So Charlotte basically is where they are, and they're not moving. That's just kind of where I'm at in that. They're just not good. So, like, it's not that they're tanking. They're just a bad basketball team, and the tank takes care of itself. I'll just tell you this about the Golden State Atlanta one. I know you said you had nothing on it. I believe, you tell me, is this the highest total we've seen all season, 248? I feel like it is. 248 is the total ever since new coach Quinn Snyder has taken over for Atlanta. 8-game sample. It's the only sample we have. Atlanta, the worst defensive team in basketball. Golden State, the fastest playing team in basketball. So, like, if you're wondering why that total is super, super high, Atlanta's been horrific defensively under Snyder. They weren't great before, but now they're even worse. Small sample, but it's a sample we have. No Draymond also. Draymond, a good defensive player. He's kicked out of this game. He got himself, a 16 tech. I like Kevon Looney to grab. I'm going to look at the ladders as far as his rebounds. I think you've got a decent chance of Looney closing, and that doesn't happen very often. I think Looney rebounds is a really, really interesting bet. I was just looking at it before the show. I lost it.
It's 10.5. That's honestly not terrible.
I think we're looking at possibly 15 rebounds. That was my bold call today in the expert survey. We get a double-double out of Looney, and Looney gets 15-plus boards. And again, this game's going to be flying. The more you fly, the more potential rebounds. I like Looney to hit over on his boards today, and I think the alts are worth exploring as well.
Honestly, don't hate that. I might end up hitting it. This double down is so good. Like, it's incredible.
Still... I mean, how are you going to be able to last? Hopefully, I don't know how much longer the show is going to go, but hopefully it won't kick in anytime soon, and you'll be able to fight it off any sort of repercussions of the double down.
Talking about my trips to the bathroom? Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
There was an implication.
Keto, though. It's keto, Dino. It's a keto sandwich if it's a sandwich.
I love it. Yeah, it's so it's healthy is what you're saying.
It's getting me my nutrients today. You know how much of your daily value of sodium is in this?
I would say, like, do you have the number?
Yeah.
I would say 250%.
Okay, that's insane. It's 100%.
Well, okay, well that's insane too. But yeah, I figured you're going for absurdity. But okay, so you can't have any more salt the rest of the day, or you're gonna have some salt. Come on.
I mean, the nice thing is, it's St. Patty's Day. I'm gonna have some drinks tonight, so I need to hydrate up. And I need to get some good protein in me. This is good, solid chicken breast, to be honest. So
you celebrate? Are you? You're not. I mean, like you're just gonna pretend to be Irish. You're just gonna play along. I'm guessing
I am
you're not. I don't think you're
25%
Irish.
Irish.
Oh, there you go. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I don't know what the response is, but
all right, so 50% Irish too. So
yeah, she can't.
I didn't know I was Irish until I was 30, but
does that explain a lot of things?
She can drive.
She can drive. Are you going to the clubhouse?
I don't think we're going to the clubhouse.
Oh, look at you.
Fancy.
I want
to go to a brewery or an Irish bar, get some green beer. The next game we got is Cleveland going up against Washington. I don't think you're going to like either of these bets. Porzingis over 20.5 points, minus 111 at Caesars. I think that Mobley is going to be. If Allen was playing, I probably wouldn't go with this, but Mobley playing big, probably on Gafford a decent amount. Porzingis, I think, makes it a better matchup for him. Over 20.5 points. He's had 2 rough games in a row, but prior to that, hit like 7 straight. So I think he's hit 9 out of the last 12. I'm rolling with the over, and then under 10.5 rebounds for Mobley, minus 106 at Caesars.
Oh,
go ahead, poo on him.
How dare you? My Greta Thunberg. Like, are you? Come on, what? You're betting against Mobley today?
How dare you? I'm again, the number's too high. Mobley's rebounds is generally sitting at like 8.5.
I did I went on StatMuse earlier. It's funny. This is another one I was kind of digging into. Do I still have it up right now? I do. In the 10 games that Mobley has played without Jared Allen, he's averaged 16.5 points per game, and precisely, I think the 10.6 rebounds. So right in the number. He's played 34.6 minutes as well. He sees a slight bump, when Allen's just off the court, not necessarily a specific game, but when he's off the court as far as usage goes up like 1.7%, and his rebounding rate ticks up as well. So I'm on the side of Mobley. Now, if you want to say something on your side of it, Washington's actually a pretty good rebounding team, one of the better rebounding teams in the league. And I think as far as opponent total rebounds per game, I want to say they're like the 5th or 6th least amount. So you got that in your favor. But I don't want to bet against
Gafford. Porzingis playing the 4 is obviously a great rebounder. Kuzma better rebounding 3s in the entire league. Yeah.
Well, wait a second. Kuzma, I guess Kuzma's expected to play tonight. He's expected to come back. I wasn't certain of that for a reason. It is weird, but you think Mobley is on Gafford and not on Porzingis?
I think it'll go.
Who's on Porzingis? Is it like Lamar Stevens?
I mean, are they going to have Lamar Stevens guarding Gafford?
I don't know. It's whoever it is. It's like going to be a person that's undersized. But if they put Mobley on Porzingis, and I mean, Porzingis is obviously a bigger threat defensively than Gafford is. I'm curious how that's going to work. But if it is Mobley on Gafford, Porzingis certainly could do some things. That'll be interesting. I wonder how that matchup's going to break down.
Yeah. Next game, we got Chicago going up against Minnesota. I got a few bets in this game. Mike Conley over 10.5 points, minus 115 at Caesars. I think we have him projected for 11.5. And then I do something that I occasionally do, and I hate myself every single time. DeMar DeRozan over 24.5 points, plus 115 at Betfred. Levine over 29.5 points, plus 150 at Betfred. Over 34.5 points, plus 410 over at Betfred. Levine's just been absolutely crushing. Last game, I had his alt over, did not hit. Shot, I think, 7 or 6 for like 22 from the field. But the volume was great. He's had multiple 40-point games, I think, this month. Lots of 30-point games this month. Usage has been fantastic. Solid matchup going up against Minnesota. And out DeRozan, he can get there while Levine gets there too. If not, I should at least hit one of these. Both of them, odds were just a little bit off. I like them.
Yeah, I like the theory of one of them's going to get there. Worst case scenario, of course, we've seen it before, or both don't get there. They're goofy things that certainly happen. Are you hitting? Maybe I didn't follow that part. Did you hit the alts on both DeRozan and Levine as well? So if you go 1 for 2, you get assuming one kind of shoots up more than the other one, or you just hitting like overs as far as their standard numbers.
So I went with semi-alt with DeRozan. Like at 23.5, it was minus 125 on the over. At 24.5, it was plus 115 over on Betfred.
Yeah.
So just clearly better number. And Levine, I didn't even do the normal line. I just went with the alt over 30 plus at plus 150, 35 plus 410. I just think that those are like his line should be at 29.5. Realistically,
is there still revenge in a Levine revenge game against Minnesota? I'm not really sure if he's still vengeful against them, but and he's also, like you mentioned, that of late, recently, DeRozan's been a little bit more passive, and Levine's been a little more aggressive. If you look at the usage numbers, the last so many games, doesn't mean it can't change this game, but like overall, compared to the entire season, Levine's been shooting more and DeRozan's been shooting less. Just kind of sort of interesting. And the Bulls have been playing really good defense, by the way. Past 15 games, they are the third best defensive team in the league. Gobert is questionable, but I think he's like questionable every day, it seems, at this point, going forward. And he's been playing through it. But a couple times it's sort of sprung up on us like, oh, he actually doesn't play. Gobert and Reed, for what it's worth, are both questionable. The two big men for Minnesota. I guess something to keep an eye on. Cat is still a week or two
generally
away.
If one of them's not going to play, they'll make sure they play the other one.
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah, unless they're legitimately hurt, but who knows?
Yeah. Next game, Pelicans, Rockets. Again, Vegas has kind of caught on to a lot of the overs, so I don't have many bets in this game. Jason Tate, over 9.5 points. He's hit this in like 6 out of the last 7 games. Something like that. Just too low of a number. And Trey Murphy, over 3.5 rebounds. I didn't realize there's a Troy Murphy, too.
No, Troy Murphy played for the Knicks and the Warriors many years ago. Different person.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Right, I didn't realize him.
I've made that mistake before. I've called him Troy Murphy, but yeah, totally different guy.
I'm like, that does not look. Well, I was Googling it. I'm like, that does not look right. That does not look like Trey Murphy. And he doesn't play for Dallas. I'm like, oh, that's Troy Murphy.
He's also 40.
Yeah, last played in 2013. Not
the Knicks. I'm thinking of somebody totally different. But yeah,
it was Golden State in Indiana. Did a little stint in a few different teams afterwards, but wasn't too bad of a player. It doesn't look like. It's before my time. Well, it wasn't quite. Really I saw him on the latter end when he wasn't relevant. I just got those 2 bets. Memphis, San Antonio. Who's the best player in the league, Daniel?
By the way, I was thinking of David Lee for the record. Somehow I turned that into David Lee, who played for the Knicks in Golden State. The best player in the league is, according to Grant, according to you, it's Desmond Bane. Nobody cared about Desmond Bane until we had a matchup like this tonight, right? People are going to be loving themselves in Desmond Bane this evening against San Antonio. Certainly, he's appealing. By the way, I was curious. Just to backtrack, I'm assuming you looked at it. The tricky part is that New Orleans is fully healthy now, with the exception of Alvarado and Williamson. We're expecting Ingram to go, and he takes a lot of usage, a lot of minutes away from, Trey Murphy.
Yeah,
Herb.
There's the reason why I didn't bet his points.
I was thinking about threes against Houston. We know three-pointers against Houston's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
I looked into that earlier, and I'm like, yeah, everyone back. Probably not worth it.
You go ahead. Tell me why Desmond Bane's going to smash tonight.
Because it's going up against San Antonio. 24.5. What do you think the line is? 24.5 on his over. What odds do you think I'm getting?
Well, the way you're framing that, I'm guessing it's like plus 105.
Plus 115.
That seems really good. That seems like a really good number.
His normal line's 23.5 over at Betfred. I was getting plus 115. I'll take him out as a normal line too. This was just better. But Bane been a little bit up and down without Ja in the lineup, but still averages 26 points per 36 without Ja in the lineup. Great matchup versus San Antonio. 8-point spread, I think, so chance of a blowout, but it's a blowout. He's definitely gotten there. San Antonio, worst defensive team in the league. And then an interesting one, Tyus Jones, over 1.5 3-pointers made. So he has not been hitting this line. Like I was looking at it and it was not really popping, or it was really popping. I'm like looking at things like 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 5, 0, 2 over the last like 8 or so games. I'm like, why is this going on here? And I look at his overall season numbers. In 23 minutes per game, he's averaging 1.5 3-pointers made. I look more into it, like matchup versus Miami, obviously a tough one. Dallas, Golden State, he got 3. Lakers, it was just a weird game. So it's one of those spots where looking at recent game logs is not great. I don't mind the 3+ 3-pointers. And I think plus 280, it's just FanDuel's not going to let me get down anything. Just a solid overall matchup, and this line's just way too low. I got -125 over 1.5. Again, if you want better odds, go with a 3+, go with a 4+. Heck, go with a 5+ if you want. Tyus Jones could have a big old game. Yeah, those are my 2 bets in that game. I don't.
All right, I got one for you. San Antonio, middle of the road actually, as far as yielding threes, and that's possibly because nobody gives up more points in the paint than San Antonio. I believe by it's at least a point or a point and a half when it comes to the second worst team as far as yielding points in the paint. Xavier Tillman, 81.99% of his points. Where do they come from, Grant? No, 80.9% of his points come from the paint. I like him over on points. We're looking at on FanDuel 10.5 over under plus 102. I think that is a really good bet. Betting on Tillman over 10.5 points. I like that one a good bit. It's 100 even money on DK, but yeah, get it where it's best. That's FanDuel right now plus 102. For what it's worth, our projections currently have him at 11.5 points. So slightly positive play according to that, and it's also a slightly positive number as far as actually what you have to lay. You have a thought as far as Xavier Tillman? Did I sell you? Again, they give up the most points in the paint. And then Tillman, I didn't? No,
I'm staying away. Like I'm not against it. I was almost hitting the under earlier, but you talked me off of the under. We'll just put it that way.
Okay, I guess that's something.
Yeah, no real lines out for the Boston-Portland game. Obviously, a lot of injury news there. Dallas, there's no lines, but there's lines on the Lakers side. I'm going with a ladder. You know who I'm laddering again?
D'Angelo Russell.
No, never again. F that guy.
No, you can't say never again. I mean, this in your business, if you say never again, you're gonna have nobody to play after a couple months.
I don't often say never. There are very few players I say never again to.
Yeah, Tony Snell, I said never again to.
I mean, no. I'll still bet unders on Tony Snell. But Siakam, I can never get right. Siakam, I can absolutely never get right. I'm just
he's
done
tough.
with him. Trae Young was close to the never list, but I kept it going and came back to life. But outside of that, really don't have many on the never list. Anthony Davis, over 27.5 points, -105 at win. Over 29.5 points, plus 140 at Betfred. Over 34.5 points, plus 410 at Betfred. 40 plus 1,100 at Betfred.
Oh, wow.
Like,
pretty big number.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people forget how good Anthony Davis has been. Like, earlier on the season, he was playing like an MVP. Right now, he's playing like an MVP. In the last however many games, like he had 2 rough ones and people just forgot. 35, 17, 8, 30, 39, 38, 28, 30. You look at earlier on in the season, he was averaged 27 points with LeBron, I think, in the month of November. Like, he's been so good at just scoring the ball and getting rebounds. It's been ridiculous. And the Lakers, surprise, surprise, after I say that they're a great bet, after LeBron ends up going down, they're a great bet. They're looking pretty good. Have a chance to get potentially the 7th seed.
It's pretty congested. Yeah, it's pretty congested. Like they can certainly rise. Let's check out the standings. Are you looking at it right now? The Lakers are currently in the 9 spot, 34-16, tied with OKC and the 10. Golden State's currently at the 6 at 36-34. So they're 2 games behind them. Minnesota and Dallas And by the way, you can make the argument this is a really important game, obviously, for both
It is.
sides because Minnesota, Dallas, and the Lakers are jockeying for that position. Notes, by the way, we just got Tim Hardaway officially in for Dallas. That just happened. I know Kyrie practiced, so there's a chance. Let's see, we got nothing on Kyrie, but they said Kyrie did practice, participated in shoot around. I believe he practiced yesterday, so I would guess that he plays. Don't know that for certain, but yeah, so it should be. And like again, maybe they've been kind of circling this game. Who knows? But expect Dallas to be fully healthy now. Stop playing if you Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, those guys. They've really been pumped up DFS wise as far as their prices. And like you said, there's no numbers out there because of the situation. So Kyrie in, Kyrie out would change things drastically, and the Bucks are not going to lay anything out there. But yeah, that should be a fun game to watch. If nothing else, I guess you'll be checking it out when you're getting lubricated at the bar. I imagine. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you're watching.
I'm going to be watching Montana State play.
Do you have ties to Montana State?
My wife went there.
She went to Montana State. I know that was the officials. I know she was from that area. As yeah.
Brad,
what are they called?
State.
What are they called? What's the nickname? Do you not know the nickname?
Cats or Grizz?
Montana State Cats? It can't be that, can it?
Bobcats, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bobcat.
Montana
All
State's Bobcats. Montana is Grizzlies.
Okay. Yeah. Are they typical? I feel like are they in the tournament often? I feel like they're not. I don't follow such things. But
I don't think so. She did her undergrad at Montana State, grad at Creighton. So I have Creighton going to the Final Four. She has Creighton winning in her bracket that did on DK, which honestly does not look too bad. But yeah, we have some money on Montana State tonight, which I got them at plus 340. They're all the way down to 280.
The closing line value. My brother was a student athlete at Furman, and he went to the game yesterday. So I don't really watch typically the March Madness. It's just not for me. But I did catch the last minute of it, and that was spectacular. What a disaster for Virginia. I don't know if you caught that, if you're aware what happened, but spoiler alert, Furman won. The first time in the tournament, I think, since 1980. So good for them. And people are now discovering that Furman has a lot of apparel out there. It says FU in big letters. Furman University.
Nice.
People are figuring that out. I believe I had one of those in high school when my brother was at people like Furman. What's that? But go Paladins. Represent.
Yeah. That's all the show we got, Daniel.
How's that double down sitting right now?
Oh, fantastic. I feel great. I feel like I could take on the day. I just got 50 grams of good protein. Probably the same amount of fat, my entire daily value of sodium. I'm going to be pounding water all day. Oh, it's good.
Yeah. Just checking in. That's all. That's good to know.
Oh, I love it. So good. And the KFC sauce, which used to be called finger looking good sauce. The KFC sauce, so good.
What is KFC sauce? Never heard of it. I'm generally not a fan of sauce.
It started 6 years ago. It's the biggest similarity it's going to have is to Raising Cane sauce, and yeah, it's just magical.
Have those out there in Colorado, Raising Cane's? I thought that was a southern thing.
Yep.
Okay.
They have it. You do well. I don't know if you left my house at all, but you would have driven past it multiple times. It's ironic.
Yeah,
they're very pride friendly. And so they have One Love on their sign. And it's right across the street from Chick-fil-A. So chicken wars are taking a weird turn.
There you go. I mean, I have thoughts, but I'm going to move on. But that's interesting.
No,
I wonder if that was.
I didn't want to get too into it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say anything. But I just kind of love that they're right across the street from Chick-fil-A and opposing viewpoints on a very divisive issue that I will stay out of.
It's like a scene out of Anchorman. Never mind. I don't know why. Okay.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Well, and on that, it's been a fun show. Thanks for hopping on, Dean.